I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. In fact, we are talking about a lot of light in the sky today, because if you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you'd already know that the title of tonight's show is Running Out of Luck. And that is because of the way the planets are going to be positioned this Saturday, July 24th, under the full moon that we're going to have at 1 degree of Aquarius. Aquarius is a fixed air sign. It rules the future and space and aviation and certainly computers and the internet and all electronics, anything that goes through the air. It rules the telecommunications field, social media. It rules invention, and it rules freedom. And so people can be really focusing in, or there can be a lot of light, since it is a full moon, on freedom. And it could be freedom that people want, or freedom that's been denied for a long time, because there are 5 planets in the fixed signs under the full moon in Aquarius, which is at 1 degree on Saturday. And these 5 planets are in extremely harsh aspect. 3 of them are the malefic planets that can get you in trouble, Mars, Saturn, and Uranus. And then the other 2 are actually the full moon and the sun. So it simply means that your future plans could be dangerously threatened right now in one way or another. Whatever they can be threatened by will be surprising. It would happen as a surprise. And that is because the planet that is actually commandeering, in other words, running the whole show, is not the full moon. It is Uranus in Taurus. So I'll explain why. On Saturday, the full moon is going to be at 1 degree of Aquarius, and it will be joined by Saturn, which is in Aquarius as well. And Saturn is the planet of time. It's retrograde right now, so people can be changing their minds about their future plans, and that's probably a good idea. It's probably a good idea to think them over a little bit more, because you might want to make different choices, particularly if something is being dangerously threatened. So these 2 planets, the full moon and Saturn, are opposing the sun, which has now moved into Leo. So if the full moon is at 1 degree of Aquarius, then the sun is also at 1 degree, but it is in Leo, and they are exactly opposite each other. That's what happens under a full moon. But at the same time, there is another planet in Leo, and it is Mars. Mars is at 27 degrees. It is still in Leo, and it is a malefic planet. Mars is very energetic. It rules war, and it rules aggression, and sort of fearless people that are just want to have big egos and do what they want to do. And so, and it's in a fire sign, because Leo is a fire sign, and that Leo is stronger now because its ruler, the sun, has come into it. However, these 4 planets are actually all square, are opposing each other, and it includes the lights, the sun and the moon, which are in exact opposition, and that can indicate indecision or confusion about something. So that can be why someone is running out of luck. But the drawback to the power that is involved with these 4 planets is that none of them are supported by any other planets. They're not only in harsh opposition, but the sun and Mars in Leo have no support because there's nothing in Aries or Sagittarius. And that same thing's happening with the full moon in Aquarius. The full moon and Saturn have no support because there's nothing in Libra or Gemini. So how is a person supposed to be running out of luck here, other than they can be meeting very stubborn resistance right now? Well, the planet Uranus, that planet that does rule the future, because Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, is in Taurus, a fixed financial sign, and it and it rules investments and the New York Stock Exchange, and it rules Germany and Israel as well. And so Uranus in Taurus is the third malefic planet, and the reason it's a malefic planet is because it is very volatile, acts very suddenly and surprisingly. Can't quite count on it. It's not a steady plotter like Saturn is, and it's not aggressive, going in a determined way like Mars is. It just acts real suddenly. So that Uranus in Taurus is squaring the full moon and Saturn, and it's also squaring the Sun and Mars. But it is fortified. Oh boy, is it fortified. That's why it's commandeering the whole thing. And that's why someone's really running out of luck, because that Uranus in Taurus is now being trined. It's part of a grand trine in Earth signs because it's being trined by Venus, which moved out of Leo and it went into Virgo, where it is now. So Venus, which is Taurus's own ruler, is in Virgo trining that Uranus, and so is Pluto in Capricorn. And Pluto is retrograde, indicating a change in management in one way or another, or in government policies, or in large corporations. But it could be a rather beneficial change at this time because these three planets are very strong and they're really supporting each other. So they're giving, Venus and Pluto are giving a tremendous amount of support to Uranus, and Uranus is turning around and saying, well, I'm squaring the planets in Aquarius and I'm stronger than they are, which is true. And I'm stronger than the planets in Leo because these planets have no support and Uranus does. So somebody is really running out of luck. What kind of luck is it? Financial. They're running out of financial luck. And it could really affect a lot of people in a lot of different ways. So what we have to understand is that the good part about the grand trine in Earth signs is that the planets, for the most part, are pretty good planets. Uranus is the higher octave of Venus, and Uranus and Venus are trining each other. That's pretty good. And so it can be that this is an excellent time for problem solving. And if you had a problem that you wanted to solve, you could do it by yourself. You could do it by sitting down and being real practical, just writing down what's wrong with something, and then writing down what you like about it too, what's right with it, and see what adds up. And, if you've got a lot more in the what you like column than you do in the what's going wrong column, then you may as well stick around and, try to work on something, try to fix something somehow. But if there's a little bit more in the things that are going wrong column, this is a perfect time for you to find a solution. It's really good. And besides, Aquarius, where the full moon is on Saturday, rules the future. That's your future. And so this is a perfect time for you to decide quietly yourself, and I mean really by yourself, just sort of what you're willing to pay for and how much time you want to spend on something or not. And if it isn't better to be a little bit more practical or a little bit more cautious now, because the biggest losers are going to be the gamblers. And the reason why is that Leo rules gambling. And even though the sun has come into Leo and is exactly opposing that full moon in Aquarius on Saturday, and it rules Leo, it has Mars in the sign. And that's the malefic planet that is opposing Saturn, the other malefic planet. And those two are squaring the third malefic planet, Uranus, which is really a lot more powerful than the other two at the moment. So somebody who has overextended themselves, or a group of people that have very big egos and want to take a chance, want to be boss, Leo Leo's rules royalty. And Leos like to be in control. Or they, it rules sports. They want to be captain of the team. They want to be the boss. And so this is a time when if somebody overstepped their authority and sort of took on the role of boss, even if they weren't really designated that, then they may have taken a gamble thinking that they were going to get everything their own way, and that is absolutely not true. In fact, it's not in their future at all. And they're kidding themselves if they think they're going to get their way. That is not true. So people who have been taking a big gamble are going to be at a financial loss right now. Whereas other people who are sort of looking at their future and sort of slowly reviewing things and trying to make up their minds and maybe changing their minds, okay, they may not have all the answers, but at least they're doing some pretty good searching. And if that's you, then you may be actually a lot closer to a future plan of yours that is going to work out really well. So just stick with it. I don't necessarily think that it is an old plan. And the reason why is even if you had the fondest dream in the world has changed. So I'm not saying you have, but the world has changed. And we all have to adjust to changing conditions in this world. And so we can do that. Americans are wonderful at adapting to change. In fact, I'd say they're the best in the world at it. Which, that adapting to change is a trait of Gemini. And Gemini is the rising sign of the United States chart. So naturally, we're good at change because that's what Gemini rules, and it's our ascendant. So this is a time when if you are thinking that you want to move forward and you have not taken a gamble on anything and you've carefully sort of adjusted to conditions today, because that pandemic brought a lot of new things into our life, and people's priorities have changed, or their energy level has changed, or even their incomes have changed. And we all need to sort of settle down a little bit into what can make a better future for ourselves. And the full moon could show you that. But the people that are going to get a sort of a foggy picture or a dark picture of their future are the ones that have already taken a gamble, or they have already sort of bet the farm on something that they thought they were going to control their way. And they are sadly mistaken. It's not going to happen. And so this is a time when if you want to be at your best, then do that. But if you are trying to control anyone else, or if you're denying somebody their freedom, that's not a good idea. And I don't think that will work at all. And that's because Aquarius rules freedom. And look what that full moon on Saturday is up against. The Sun and Mars, Saturn in the same sign that it's in, and Uranus squaring all of them. And Uranus is the one that's in charge. Uranus is part of a grand trine in Taurus that involves the earth signs. And, people who are practical, and I would describe people who want to put their money where their mouth is. In other words, work hard and invest wisely, and cautiously, and solve practical problems before they get too big. Those people are really going to do well right now because they have a future and they know it. But the people that are saying, well, what if, or if this goes right and this goes right, then everything's fine, they're taking a gamble. And there are other people that are saying, I don't like the way things are going. I'm going to move in and control it all. Those people are losing too. And so this is a time for you just to sort of sort out matters in your life a little bit. And if you want a better future, start small and just change a little bit at a time. because your future will be in view this weekend. Because that full moon is on Saturday in Aquarius. We are certainly going to see somebody that wants their freedom pretty badly. And I don't know if it's a country or if it's a group or if it's just one person, but freedom will be on the agenda under this full moon. But the problem is that the really good aspects are in the earth signs. It's, what can you afford? What is practical? How much can you save? That old idea that you used to hear your grandparents talking about, save, trying to save for a rainy day, that's a very good idea because it rains at the oddest times. And sometimes it's just having that savings around somewhere that really pulls you through. So the emphasis is going to be on your future coming up. And I hope it'll be a good one. Okay, what does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Aries, for you, I think that you can certainly benefit by the fact that the sun has now moved into Leo and is trining your sun because the sun rules Leo. It's very strong there. And Mars is in Leo as well, and that's your ruler. So Aries, you could be feeling as if you could get a second wind, or, you could be hearing about an intriguing new offer or new beginning, or maybe it's you that's got a great new idea, and you could think of getting the support from somebody pretty influential to back you on that. You might be able to make that, Aries. That's not a bad idea at all. So you can sort of think along those lines, but at the same time, the real emphasis on something very good is in the earth signs. And Uranus is in Taurus right ahead of your sun sign, and the full moon on Saturday in Aquarius is 2 signs back. It's near your sign, but it's sort of behind your sign. And so, and it's squaring that Uranus in Taurus. And so you have to be real careful before you make a decision, Aries, because whatever decision you're going to make coming up is, it's not exactly irrevocable, but close. In other words, you should, be careful what you ask for, because everything that we ask for has responsibility connected to it. And how much responsibility do you really want, Aries? And so you could have different reasons for starting something new. But they are not all going to be reasons that will support you in the end. So you could say, I have a great idea. But you are going to need so much support from other people. And if I were you, I'd be a little more practical and look around and see if you got the support before you go forward with the idea. Because your own ruler is in Leo as well. It's a malefic planet, and it's, there's a lot of planets. 2 in Aquarius, 2 in Leo, and 1 in Taurus. Half of all the planets in the heavens are sort of arguing with each other now. They've been doing that for a while. And, that's what I mean. Don't bite off more than you can chew, Aries. If I were you, I'd be a little bit cautious right now and defer your plans for right now. And the reason why is that there are retrograde planets, and so many people are changing their minds, and therefore they may be changing their prior choices, that you may not be able to count on the support that you think you can get by the time you really need it. And that's why I think you should just quietly wait and see what other people do first before you decide to really back your own ideas. And try to be a little bit more cautious. I'm not talking about your talent. You could have enough talent to do whatever you want. But we all need help from others, and we all need encouragement. And sometimes people need bankrolling. They need a little financial backing as well. And that's what's wrong with this full moon, is somebody is running out of luck, and the kind of luck they're running out of is financial. And you would be wise to wait and see who that is and how long that's going to last before you go forward yourself. So try to be patient. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. Well, Taurus, when I said that Uranus in your sign was commandeering this full moon on Saturday, it looks to me like, boy, it's really doing it. So, Taurus, you may have the answer to some sort of financial situation. I'm not saying it's necessarily a problem, but it's a situation that you may be thinking, oh, I've got a better idea here. I'm going to go with what I think is the right thing to do because it's sort of quick and easy. You know, you could be exactly right about that, Taurus. And you could have a tremendous backup right now. It doesn't mean you're not facing challenges, particularly this weekend under the full moon. Boy, are you going to be challenged. I would not spend too much money this weekend, Taurus. You might lose it. So it's that the full moon in Aquarius and Saturn are squaring Uranus in your sign, and the Sun and Mars in Leo are also squaring your Sun. You know, there could be a few people that could be angry. Maybe they're not angry at you, Taurus, but if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you could get caught in a bad situation. So you have to be very careful, particularly this weekend. So don't take any chances this weekend with anything. And then you're still going to be able to commandeer a situation, to be in control of it, and to act in a sort of a practical and yet frugal way. Because your sign does have support, a ton of it. Venus, your own ruler, in fact, these are some of the best aspects you've had all year, Taurus. Venus is in Virgo, and it's your ruler. It's trining your Sun, quite beneficial to you, because Venus and Uranus were believed by the ancient philosophers to be different octaves of love. In other words, they represent different kinds of love, and Venus represents a touching, everyday kind of love. The kind of love where you work together in partnership with others and, you sort of get ahead, have your families, stuff like that. Uranus represents a soul-satisfying love. And so Uranus is the higher octave of Venus because it rules platonic love. In other words, I always think of people that are dedicated to one project. And they're all working on the same project, each in their own way, and they want to be successful. And they love what they're doing. They just want to see if they can succeed at it. That's Uranian love. They are all sharing love of the same thing, but they're doing it in different ways, but it sort of binds you together anyway. When you think of the people that have recently put spaceships up and are thinking of, taking tourists on board and things like that in space, you have to think that whoever was responsible for getting us this far in space travel, they were all practicing Uranian love. Not the kind of love that invades your everyday life, but the kind of love for something that's higher and better than you are. Well, I'm explaining that because that planet is in your sun sign, and it's being trined by your own ruler, Venus, in Virgo. And Virgo rules your job and your health. And it's being trined by Pluto in Capricorn as well, which rules your career. So you are in a much better position to effect a good outcome of something right now, Taurus. Just sit down and think it all out first. Taurus does not like to be rushed. And so you can do your own thinking on your own time, Taurus, but you've got a lot of good backing right now. And so problems that other people are running up against, which are sort of fearsome, are not going to bother you as much. And you can sort of circumvent the problems and still go forward and be successful. If you sit down and figure out how and just be practical, it looks to me like you will make it. And so this could be the right time, Taurus, for you to move forward or line everything up the right way. you could be a little more in charge than you realize, which is good. I would take advantage of that if I were you. But think it all out first. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Gemini. This is a time that is sort of like a preview time. In other words, it's a time when things can get better, but they can be in the preview stage or the preparation stage, not in the finished product stage. So, and what I mean by that is, Gemini, the full moon is in Aquarius and Saturn is there, and both of those planets on Saturday will be trining your sun. And there aren't any planets in your sign or in Libra, so those planets are not fortified, but they are at a very harmonious angle to your sun sign. And so it is possible, Gemini, that you are in the preview stage of some future plan. Remember, Aquarius rules the future. It would be an idea that had been rolling around in your mind for a long time. See, Saturn is a planet of time. And I don't know if you went ahead with it, or if, the pandemic sort of, a lot of things sort of took a time out because of the pandemic. Maybe they're getting back on track. And maybe that is why something can be going forward now. Even if it's only in the preview stage now, it could keep going. And it would benefit you, and it would benefit Libra as well. And the reason why I encourage you to, get serious right now about something that involves your future is because Jupiter in another week it's retrograding in Pisces right now. It's at 0 degrees 25 minutes. It's really just about out of Pisces. And it'll come back into Aquarius, and Jupiter will be trining your sun. And Saturn and Jupiter will be in Aquarius trining your sun and the Libra sun for the rest of the year. They don't leave until December. And so this is a time, Gemini, when some really good idea that you had before that maybe just couldn't get off the ground is, I think, advancing. It's still in that preview stage, but I think it could keep advancing and really get underway this fall. And I would aim for a little bit later this fall, and if not by Christmas at the latest, or it would be before Christmas, and you could be successful at that, Gemini. It's just Geminis, they're so adaptable that they generally it's the sign of the twins. They like to do two different things at the same time, but one of them is real serious, Gemini. That's the one you have to pay attention to, because you're never going to get there if you don't pay attention to it. And so, don't waste your time. Just make it count little by little. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer. This is a time when you can have a million good ideas, Cancer. Now, you could also see around you other people that want to do things, and their emotions are stirred up, and they either want to rebel about something or they want to control something, who knows. So you could see all those people around you, and Cancer, you do not have a fighting nature. In fact, yours is a nurturing sign. It's there always to help people out. Okay, but you have Mercury in your sign right now. And Mercury is the planet of the mind and of communication. And it rules easy transitional change. This would be a new move in your neighborhood. That's an easy transitional change. It's not halfway around the world. And that could be accomplished, Cancer. It's also a time when you can be thinking that you want to get your finances in better shape in one reason or in one way or another. Oddly enough, one of the reasons why you might want to get your finances in better shape is so you don't have to pay so much attention to them. It's not like anybody wants to lose money right now, but we just can't always be concentrating on counting pennies, because we need to still have vision and go forward and concentrate on things that are worth more than pennies. And you can do that, Cancer. You're in a good position to discover information behind the scenes that comes out about a former omission. You know, there are all kinds of ways to lie. And one of them is to simply not tell anybody something. Omit it. Omit the truth. That could have happened on a very large scale in the last year or two. There could have been something that none of us were told. And so we would all be victims of a hoax because we didn't know. And you are in a position to find out a lot about what has been going on behind the scenes, because Neptune and Jupiter are still in Pisces, trining your sun sign, and Pisces rules things that are hidden behind the scenes. So there are people that may even just come to you and talk to you and let you know what's really going on, and you might shock you. But you have Mercury in your sign now. You can think of a lot of things that can apply to the future, and you can draw on your common sense and your past experience to go ahead and be successful if you want to be. You could be thinking about a move or planning a move or wishing for a move. I'm not so sure you're moving right now, but you can be going forward on some sort of adjustment in your home. And I think it's overdue. You should do that, Cancer. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Leo. This is a time when it's wonderful that the sun came into your sign. It's there now. It's only at 1 degree, and it is on Saturday. Well, it's not yet. On Saturday, it will be at 1 degree, exactly opposite the full moon in Aquarius, also at 1 degree. So the lights, the sun and the moon, will be opposing each other on Saturday. And then Saturn, a malefic planet, is in Aquarius, and Mars, another malefic planet, is in your sign. And Uranus, which is stronger than all of them, is, because it's so well supported, is squaring all 4 of these planets. So Leo, you may feel sort of supercharged. You could be looking forward to having a great birthday. Well, I don't blame you. That would be nice. But you can meet rather severe resistance right now in your plans. And that is because all the malefic planets are in harsh aspect to each other, and so are the lights, the sun and the moon. That's 5 planets. But it means that something that you wanted, Leo, is probably going to be delayed. And that's the good news. If it's only delayed, then all you have to do is wait a while. But on the other hand, there's also the possibility, since Mars is in your sign and Venus has left your sign, that's too bad. That's why the title of the show is Running Out of Luck. Because Venus left your sign. And Venus was softening the effects of the trouble that Mars was handing you. And Venus was sort of cushioning that. Well, now Venus is gone. It's in Virgo. And there's a whole new thing going on among the earth signs now. And so it's not exactly like you're left holding the bag, Leo. But I would say you may encounter enough stiff resistance. I'm not saying that you're causing the resistance, but it can be coming your way anyway, that you may have to seriously change your future plans. And I don't know what you can do about that except wait for a while. I think in some kind of a way, Leo, that your luck is running out. Now, it might be just a small way. Some special privilege or favor or some nice thing that you were enjoying. Okay, maybe that's running out. Well, that's not so bad. You'll get over that. Or it can be, the way it's looking, that there is a real financial, that the future is being threatened dangerously by some financial problem. And you really could suffer from that, Leo. So what to do? Well, first of all, it may or may not be your fault. It might be that there's a financial matter that's in someone else's hands. Think about your employer, for instance, and whatever their budget decides could have an adverse effect on you. And so I don't think, Leo, even under very best conditions, I do not think that you would be getting the money that you're anticipating. And let's just say that it has nothing to do with you, nothing at all. Then it could be something like higher taxes. It could be inflation that is eating through your paycheck and everybody else's. Things like that. That's not your fault, but it takes away your money too. And so, Leo, this is a full moon that I think you're going to feel. I think you're going to feel it. And that will result in a change in your future direction in one way or another. So your sign has no support. There's nothing in Aries or Sagittarius. And there's no cushion. Venus isn't there anymore. So I think you may have a little bit of a rough week, Leo. And if I were you, I would just slow down a little bit. Don't be in too much of a hurry this week. It wouldn't do you any good. Other people could be in a greater hurry. And that means they could, if they're coming at you, they'd hit you harder. Don't invite disaster, Leo. Just slowly move along, because that could help you in the end. So take care. And it's not all bad. But this weekend, you're going to have to be very careful. If I were you, I wouldn't take a gamble on anything. You are really not expected to win it. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo. Venus has just come into your sign, Virgo. Are you in the mood for love? You could be. You could also be very happy about something that's dear to your heart, Virgo, your health. And that's because your sign rules health. It rules both physical health and mental health, because it's a mental sign ruled by Mercury, the planet of the mind. So Venus is in your sign. That means there have been misunderstandings or problems that can clear up right now, Virgo, because there's a grand trine in Earth signs. That's wonderful. And that means that Uranus in Taurus, which is sort of taking charge of tough situations and sort of sorting out the people that, sort of the gamblers from the people that are just trying to work hard and earn a living. You know, there's a lot going on at one level, and it may not touch you at all, Virgo, because Uranus in Taurus is trining your sun. If anything, you could have some very good news about an investment. It could have increased in value. And Pluto in Capricorn is trining your sun, which means there could be some welcome news about a change in management or policy that more or less has been proven to be correct. Or it could even be that there is as I said, a secret that is revealed that was in the form of an omission. Something nobody was told. In other words, it was kept back. It was covered up in some way. And it produced a giant hoax on all of us. And you could even find out about that, or at least follow your hunches. This is a good time for you to follow your hunches, Virgo. You would not in order to do harm to anybody, but simply to straighten out some problems. And you can be very successful at that. They can be smaller problems having to do with your career, or just more improvement in your health, or they could be problems that have to do with your family, or perhaps your investments, or a career change of some sort, but one that would work out really well for you. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Libra. You know, you're going to get luckier this fall. And the reason why is that this full moon on Saturday, with Saturn in Aquarius, trines your sun. And remember, Aquarius rules the future. but Saturn is retrograde. And that simply means that even though the full moon is there, giving everybody a pretty good look at some future project or idea or the possibility of something in the future that's pretty amazing, that can be possible, but it can also be something that can be very attractive to you, Libra. Or there can be something pretty good headed your way. And that would be after Jupiter comes back into Aquarius. And that will be next week, at the end of July. It will come back into Aquarius. It will join Saturn there. The full moon is just going to be there this Saturday, and they're all trining your sun. So Libra, you know, it isn't exactly like the sky's the limit, but it's close. So I think that you're going to be headed, if it's not you, it's somebody you know that is headed in a new direction, and it's looking very promising. So if somebody was coming up and asking you to sort of contribute a little support to a new venture, and it wasn't a whole lot of money, you might consider that, because that could benefit you in some ways that you even can't quite imagine right now, Libra. So, you know, that is not taking a gamble, particularly if you know the people really well, and if they've already got a track record of doing something. You know, you can look at those results, and you can judge for yourself whether they would be worth investing with or not. So there may be the possibility of a new partnership coming up for you, and that would be absolutely excellent. It could be the reassociation with a former employer, or working very close to a place that you used to work before. It could happen, Libra. So this is a good full moon for you, because I don't think you're going to get caught in the crosshairs of people who are feuding right now, or gamblers who want to control everything and are on the verge of having their luck run out. If you see people like that, just run the other way, Libra. They're not your type. So, and look toward the future, because it's particularly for the whole last half of this year, it's going to maybe turn out a little better than you think, Libra. So look ahead. Okay, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Scorpio. Well, Scorpio, I said at the start that the reason the title is called Running Out of Luck is because there are 5 planets that are harshly caught up in a T-cross among fixed signs. And that's every other fixed sign except yours, Scorpio. Yours is a fixed sign, but there are no planets in your sign, which allows you a little bit of room to move by yourself, just by yourself, not with anybody else. And you can sort of manipulate around in your own little sheltered sphere. So that's good. But should you wish to expand, or if you sort of want to throw your weight around, or if you want to, you know, get out and crack the whip anywhere, you are asking for trouble, Scorpio. And the reason why is there's too many planets in fixed signs right now. And they don't budge, and neither do you. Do you call that a winning situation? It's not. So don't fight with anybody, because it's only going to wear out your own stamina. It isn't gonna, you're not gonna win anything that way. So don't get in a fight with anybody right now. And that is because the full moon and Saturn in Aquarius are squaring your sun. So some of your future plans can look as if they're sort of up on a shelf, or they're going to be delayed for a while, or something like that. And then the sun and Mars in Leo are squaring your sun, and that really is a sign of danger for you, Scorpio. You could be hit in a crosswalk. You could be just walking along and get attacked by one of these people that just come up and hit people. So you better be careful about that. You could be facing competition from a very aggressive competitor that wants to control you. That could be pretty hard to live with, Scorpio. Once again, though, I'm saying don't fight. Okay? You have good support among the water signs. So don't fight with who wants to fight with you. Ignore them, go around them, and be with more compatible people. People you like, not people you have to fight with. And then Uranus in Taurus, which is coming during the whole influence of everybody this weekend under the full moon in Aquarius. That Uranus in Taurus, which is very strong, it's part of a grand trine in earth signs, is opposing your sun sign. It looks to me, Scorpio, like your financial resources are going to be divided up in a way that you had not anticipated. And once again, just as I was telling Taurus, it can be because of things beyond your control. It could be because of higher tax laws that go into effect. It could be because inflation is just going through the roof and it's hurting everybody. And so that just eats away at your money. It could be that people want to fight about money. And if they're trying to fight with you about money, they have picked the wrong opponent. Because there are two financial signs, Scorpio and Taurus. They're fixed signs, both of them, and they're the most possessive signs in the whole zodiac. So you do not take away something from a Scorpio or a Taurus unless you're willing to really pay for it, because they'll make you pay for it. And so, Scorpio, I'm not worried about you necessarily losing money, but your resources may have to be reallocated in some way, but it might be due to new tax policy or government policy of some sort, or some contract that is delayed that you were sort of counting on. So that could happen, but it is not worth losing any sleep over, Scorpio. Do not fight with anybody right now. The reason why is they're looking too hard to fight with you. Don't give them any satisfaction. They don't deserve it. So just turn your back on them and walk away and live to fight another day. And don't worry, Mercury in Cancer is trining your sun, and Neptune and still Jupiter in Pisces are trining your sun as well. You have backup, which you didn't have before, but you've got it now. So stand tall, Scorpio, and you don't need to fight with anybody. So I would be real quiet if I were you. We still have to get through the rest of July before things settle down in August. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Sagittarius. This is a time when you can certainly feel like you want to get something underway, and you're sort of just waiting. You know, it's like a horse waiting for the start of a race to begin. You may not be right up there at the starting line yet on something, Sagittarius, but I bet you're thinking about it. Something new. Something that if it's not for you, it could be for a child. It could be for somebody that you care about. It could be doing something that you would love to do. Your sign rules travel. Maybe it's a trip that you want to take. You may not be underway yet, but you can be pretty excited about contemplating something like that. And that's because the sun has now moved into Leo, and along with Mars is trining. They're both trining your sun, Sagittarius, which is good. And Mercury has moved out of Gemini. It's no longer opposing your sun sign. It's in Cancer right now. And so this is a time when some of the little things that had been bothering you for a while, Sagittarius, have calmed down a little bit. And they're going to stay calm. In fact, they may disappear after a while, so that's good. I don't think you have to worry about little things as much as you have had to earlier in the year. And then there is the possibility that since the sun and Mars are trining your sun, they can energize you to get going on your plans. I don't think that you're actually at the stage of doing the new thing yet, But there's a million things to do to get ready, Sagittarius. You may as well get real serious about something that's coming up. You had a solar eclipse in your sign last Christmas. You had a lunar eclipse in your sign this spring. And you're having another solar eclipse in your sign this December. You really have to get ready for a new beginning. And it's going to be a real good one. And, it doesn't, remember, it's a new beginning. I'm not talking about the ending of it. I'm talking about the beginning of it. And you have to get ready for that. So I hope that you use whatever extra energy or motivation you have right now to further your own plans. And just work on that. Because you're going to be real busy as we get closer to the holidays. So try to get little things out of the way that you don't want to be bothered with later on. Do them now, Sagittarius, and forget them, because you're going on to bigger and better things. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time when you can be sort of in a mental conflict. And the reason why is that the planet of the mind, Mercury, has now gone into Cancer, and that Mercury in Cancer is opposing Pluto in your own sign, Capricorn. And so you can be a little bit torn between, say, the needs of your family, Cancer rules the family, and their plans, which you may or may not have to adapt to, and then your own ideas of how you want to solve practical problems and redo your budget and look over your investments again, or improve your career in some way. Well, the second part of all that is going to work out really well. So the mental conflict can be about what's going on in other people's lives, in your family. And you can't control that, Capricorn, so I wouldn't spend a lot of time worrying about that. Let those people do their own thing. What you can do is really kind of take advantage of this grand trine in the earth signs and go ahead and sort of plan a new career. Now, what if you were retired? Because Capricorns, they, from the day they start a job, they start saving for when they'll retire. And they're very security prone. They generally have very solid retirements because of that, because they put money away for that. But there's a lot more going on than that, Capricorn, in your life right now, and it's pretty good. For instance, Venus is in Virgo, trining your sun, which is wonderful. It means your health is getting better. And so is your mind. Some problems that were just giving you trouble because you couldn't sort out everything. You may have been hearing different stories from different people. It's a little hard to tell whether they were all truthful or not. That can be tough. And then you may be deciding on changing your career a little bit in some way. There is even the possibility, Capricorn, with Uranus in Taurus trining your sun and Venus in Virgo trining your sun, where you have Pluto, and those planets are direct. Pluto's the only one that's retrograde. It's that you can be doubting your own power. But when in the world are you ever going to find out how much you've got of it? You're going to have to take some powerful steps, at least take a step toward your own power. And that means doing something your own way. You really don't have to worry as much about your health. It is going to continue to improve. And there can be some surprising more money coming your way. If you own stock, it might split and you've got a lot more shares there or something like that. But also it can be that you are put in some position of responsibility. And even if it was for a small project or, say, a new company, something like that, you would do very well with that. And it would be more or less in your own control. And, when are you going to find out how nice that is, Capricorn? Capricorns spend all their lives working for somebody else. It's really time that you decided that you're secure enough to work for yourself, to do what you think is right for yourself. And I mean do something. I don't mean just sit around and think about it. Even if it's a hobby that you absolutely love and that you could see yourself doing for the rest of your life, well, do it, Capricorn, because we get better as we go along. You know, people can rejuvenate from within. It has nothing to do with your age. It has everything to do with your zest for life. And I think you're getting more zest for life, Capricorn. That's what I'm saying. So give that a try and go for it. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Oh, Aquarius. Aquarius, you got a rough little full moon coming this Saturday. And the reason why is that full moon in your sign, along with Saturn, which is retrograde in your sign, is being opposed by the Sun in Leo, and the Sun rules Leo, and by Mars in Leo as well. And none of these 4 planets have any backup at all. There are no other planets in the air signs, and there's no other planets in the fire signs. So the only thing these 4 planets are doing is opposing each other. They're coming at each other. Mars is aggression, Saturn is delay. So Saturn can be stubbornly strong at times. And you may be feeling like, you know, your freedom is everything, or your future is more important than anybody else's future. And so if I were you, I'd keep thinking like that, Aquarius, because Jupiter's about to come back into your sign by next week. And it will stay there along with Saturn until the end of the year. And so if you have been sitting around looking at all the reasons why something couldn't work, all I'm saying is it's getting pretty close to time, you know, for you to just make it work anyway. Just give something a try, Sagittarius, Aquarius. I don't think you're going to be able to do it this weekend, but you could probably do it by August 1st. And that's when Mars is out of Leo, so it won't be opposing your sun anymore. And Jupiter's coming back into your sun sign. That's going to help you out a lot, Aquarius. So you really need to sort of, you know, take the next big step, if you can, Aquarius, in August. I think you're going to be meeting resistance, particularly this weekend, when you really should not travel. And that is because Mars, that aggressive Mars rules things that are coming at you real fast. And so you really need to be cautious about your own personal safety this weekend. But I think that things are about to get better for you, Aquarius. And that could be good. There could be the summation. Yeah, that's what Saturn is. It's a planet of summation. It takes 28 to 30 years to get around a chart once. So yes, it takes a long time, but generally you see pretty good results for it. And so there's a summation that will occur in your life sometime in the next 2.5 years. And I hope it's a good one, said Aquarius, because it could be very good. And that's what you need to look forward to. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, you know, you could sort of play it real quiet right now if you wanted to, because Jupiter is at 0 degrees, 25 minutes of, and that's 25 minutes of 1 degree. That's like a little less than half a degree into Pisces. So it's really, and it's retrograde, so it's really going to go right back into Aquarius. And yet it's there now, and it's retrograde, and so is Neptune in your sign. They're both retrograde, and they're being trined beautifully now by Mercury in Cancer. And together, these 3 planets are trining the sign of Scorpio as well. And so there is a little sort of justice coming your way, Pisces. And I think that it's going to surprise you. And by that I mean I think that something that is connected with the family in one way or another will be very nice. And it might be something that you never thought would happen, but it might. And it would be something that was a long time coming. In other words, justice should have been done a long time ago. It didn't happen. Life goes on. But now there's going to be some way to make up something that was bothering you before, Pisces. But now it's going to work out a lot better. You have to be very careful, Pisces, not to look backward. Okay? We all have memories of yesterday, but this full moon is about tomorrow. It's in Aquarius. Aquarius does not rule history. Aquarius rules the future. It rules exploration. It rules space. It rules new, inventive things. And that's the way you should be going, Pisces. Maybe long ago you had wanted to, but something may come back to you now and sort of set things right. And I think that you'd like that, Pisces. And I think the timing is even better now than when you originally were looking for something like that. I think the timing is better now. So I wish you the best of luck, Pisces. Justice will be done, and it will be like turning a page or closing a chapter. Okay, that's over. But the book goes on, or the story goes on, and your life goes on, and that's good, because then you don't have to look back anymore. Okay, we're at the end of the program. Remember, you can see our show and read our blog on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.